So actually yesterday we have seen the demo, right? So we introduced Pega platform. So we understood what is Pega and why Pega. So and yeah, so yesterday what we understood, like what is Pega and why Pega. Okay, and we also understood like what is BPM, right? So these are the things that we have understood in the yesterday session. So today we'll go in deeper. Okay. So as you all know that Pega is built on top of Java, right? Pega is built on top of Java. And you know that Java also built on object-oriented programming concepts, right? OOP concepts. Okay. Is it mandatory to know about these OOP concepts? Yeah, if you know these OOP concepts, yeah, it would be easy for us because the same concepts are used in Pega. Okay. So the same OOP concepts also used in Pega. So we will first try to understand about these OOP concepts. Okay, the underlying OOP concepts we are going to understand. Only concepts. We are not going to write any code. We are not going to learn any programming. Okay, only the concepts we are going to learn because those concepts are used in Pega. Okay, object-oriented programming concepts are used in Pega. So what are those concepts which we should know? Okay, let us try to understand those OOP concepts first. OOP stands, OOP stands for what? Object-oriented programming. And you know that Java is object-oriented programming language. Okay, so let us understand what are those concepts that the Java is implementing, and as well the Pega is also implementing, right? So basically, this OOP stands on pillars like what? What are those pillars that this OOP is going to stand on those pillars? So let me specify those pillars. The pillars are nothing but concepts over here. The first pillar, which is nothing but your encapsulation. Okay. And the second pillar, it stands on abstraction. Okay. The third pillar, which it stands on inheritance. The fourth pillar, it stands on polymorphism. Encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, and polymorphism. So these are the four pillars that we have. So we just need to understand theoretically about these concepts. Okay, need not to understand it. Okay, programmatically. Only theoretically we need to understand. So when it comes to encapsulation, so let us try to understand encapsulation theoretically. Okay, so what do you mean by encapsulation? See, I'll give you a simple example to understand encapsulation. See, let us try to understand the definition first. Okay, definition of encapsulation. Definition is hiding the unnecessary details. Encapsulation hides unnecessary details, okay, or unnecessary information, okay, yeah, unnecessary information. It hides the unnecessary information. So, what do you mean by unnecessary information or unnecessary data or unnecessary details? Let's say, for example, um, when you are going for a restaurant, basically you take the menu card and you go and order the food items, right? Okay, you just order the food items, but like how the food items are getting prepared, these details are unnecessary to you, right? You just simply look at your menu card and you go and order the food items. And once you order the food items, the chef is going to prepare those food items. But we won't look into the details, right? Like how that food item is getting prepared, what is that recipe is getting used in order to prepare that food item. We are least bothered about those things, right? And those are unnecessary to us, right? Not needed. That information is not exposed to us. Okay, the chef is not going to expose all the details to us, right? Okay, that is what hiding the unnecessary details. Not only the restaurant example, you can take even your ATM. See, when you go to ATM, you insert the debit card, right? And you go and enter your PIN number. And on screen, you'll be able to see some options like withdraw money, right? Um, to print the statement. These options you'll be able to see on the screen. So only what the options are visible to you, but underlying operations are not visible to you, right? So when you select withdraw option, what is going to happen in the background that is not exposed to you. Yes or no? That is hidden from you, right? Yeah, those details are not required. So when we select a withdraw option, what is happening? Okay, what the machine is doing inside the, I mean, in the background, what the machine is doing. Those details are not necessary for us, and even those details are not even exposed to us, right? Yeah, that is also what hiding the unnecessary details, okay, or unnecessary information. That's what encapsulation. That's the meaning of encapsulation. Now, what about abstraction? So coming to abstraction, it is going to expose. It is quite opposite to encapsulation. Okay, it is quite opposite to encapsulation. Expose necessary details. Okay, expose what? Necessary details. Yeah, expose the necessary details. Or expose what? The important information. Expose the important information. Important information. Okay. So example for abstraction. See the same example, the restaurant example. See, uh, the restaurant is exposing all the food items in the form of menu card, right? They were just exposing what? What are the food items that are available in the restaurant, right? Not only the restaurant, even you can take your ATM example. Now on the ATM screen, what are the services that they offer? They were exposing on the screen, like withdraw service, deposit service, getting the statement service. All the services, whatever the bank is offering, they were exposing, right? That is necessary to the customer, right? Yeah. So abstraction is nothing but exposing the necessary details. Encapsulation in the sense hiding the unnecessary details. Okay. So abstraction is quite opposite. Okay. For example, in case of uh, when driving the car. Okay. Let us take the car example. We understood these two terms, right? Encapsulation and abstraction. Hope I think both are clear. So one is hiding and the other one is exposing. Okay. Now let us try to understand inheritance. So coming to inheritance, inheritance always talks about reusability. It talks about what? Reusability. Okay. It talks about reusability. We will understand what is this reusability, right? Reusability in the sense using the existing things instead of um, building it from the scratch. We will go and reuse it. Okay. So best example for inheritance is what? Uh, See, we are inheriting our parents, right? And not only see when we inherit our parents, we will be able to go and reuse what all the property our parent has, right? Yes or no? Yeah. Not only that example, you can take many examples for reusability. Let's say, for example, you're having um, uh, a black and white television. Okay, and now you want to go and make it as a color TV. So you can reuse that existing TV to make your TV as or television as color television. Okay, and let's say you are having a old car. Okay, now you want to have. I mean that old car is not having any uh, air conditioner or it's not having USB support. Right now, what you want to do, you want to have new features. Uh, then what you do, you go and use the same car and you go and fit all these features into the old car. So that means you're using the existing car, right? Yeah, you're not going to have a new car, right? So you're not going to buy a new car for these features. What you do, you go and use the same existing car, and into this car you are going to fit all these new features into it, right? That is what reusing the existing things. Okay, so that's what inheritance. Now, what about polymorphism? Let us also understand what is this polymorphism. The polymorphism, in the sense, having many forms. What it is? Having many forms. Okay, so poly in the sense many, uh, forms in the sense morphism. Okay, so how we can understand this polymorphism? See, let's try to understand polymorphism. Having many forms in the sense, let's say, we are the best examples for polymorphism. Let me take myself. I do have a polymorphic nature. When I say polymorphic nature in the sense, um, for example, I am a teacher to you, right? I am a father to my kids, right? I am son to my parents. I am husband to my wife, right? So having many forms. So one person is having many forms or not? Yes. So that is what polymorphic nature. Okay. So that's how we can understand at a high level about these concepts. Okay. At a high level, I have discussed about these concepts. Hmm. Okay. So hope I think you all understood about these four pillars of object-oriented programming, right? Four pillars of object-oriented programming. Okay. Any questions you have about these concepts?
No questions.
Okay. Right. So before going to see this Pega platform, okay, we need to understand this Pega software first of all. Okay, so we need to understand about the Pega software. No, let us jump into the Pega. So Pega software actually it is available in two editions. Previously, it is available in two editions. One is personal edition, and the another one is your enterprise edition. So Pega software it is available in two editions. One is your personal edition. Earlier, we used to get this personal edition, but now we have something called community edition. Okay, community edition. The second is your enterprise edition. So these are the two editions that are available. So basically, what we are going to use, we can use either personal edition or enterprise edition. So what is the difference that we had between these two editions? See, personal edition, it comes as a bundle. Okay, this personal edition software, it comes as a bundle. So when I say it comes as a bundle, where it has, um, yeah, Pega software has, uh, yeah, in the background, it contains other softwares. It's a bundle of what exactly means a Tomcat, a web server, and PostgreSQL database server, and your JDK and your JRE. So these are the softwares that will be installed when you install this personal edition. So it is a bundle of all these uh, four, four or three. Okay, you will be getting web server, PostgreSQL server, and your JDK and JRE. Okay. Hmm. So we will understand about these softwares. Let's not worry. See, to execute your application, we need web server, and to store your information, we need a database server. Okay. Mm. And I told you that Pega is built on top of Java, right? So here JDK, JRE stands for what? JDK stands for Java Development Kit. JRE stands for Java Runtime Environment. Okay. So let's not worry what is this JDK and JRE right now. So these are the environments which are helpful to develop application and run our applications. Okay, big applications. Okay. So coming to enterprise edition, how enterprise edition is different? It is not going to come as a bundle. Enterprise edition is not going to come as a bundle. So here you have a choice of what? Going for a different application server. Like you can go with something called WebLogic. You can go and make use of WebSphere. And you can also go with different database servers. So enterprise edition is not going to lock you to use only a particular server. Okay. So here you have a freedom of using other servers. Okay, right? What are the application servers and what are the database servers that the Pega is going to support? If you want to know those details, you should know about the platform guide, support guide, Pega platform support guide, Pega platform support guide. So what all the application servers that are supported, what all the database servers are that are supported by Pega, those details you should know. So for that, you need to search in the Google Pega platform support guide. Let me click on this. So you can also even go and download this document. Okay. So here you can see something called application servers, relational databases, and the underlying operating systems. Okay. So let me click on the operating system here. When I click on the operating system, what are the operating systems that are supported? The current version of Pega, what you see here, 8.8 version. Okay. So what is that version we are going to discuss? The latest version only we are going to discuss, which is Pega 8.8. Okay. And what are the operating systems that are supported for 8.8 version? See, a Red Hat Enterprise Linux operating system. Okay. So and it supports on, I mean, Pega supports your Linux operating system. Ubuntu, IBM, AIX, Oracle, Solaris. See, IBM. See, they are got deprecated here. Right? This Oracle Solaris they supported till 8.7 version. From 8.8 they were not even supporting it. Okay. So from here you can see what are the operating systems that are supported and which are deprecated for 8.8 version. Deprecated in the sense we are not supporting. Okay. Yeah. Right. And now coming to the application servers, what are the application servers that are supported? Yeah, you can see, as I said, WebSphere, your WebLogic, right? WebLogic. These are the application servers that are supported, if you see. But for 8.8 onwards, you see which all are deprecated also here it is mentioned. Everything it says that deprecated. So here, if you look at the notes, beginning in Pega 7.1.9, IBM Java SE8 is supported on WebSphere version. So later versions also it is supported here. So beginning in the Pega platform 8.8, the EAR deployment option is not supported. So let's not worry about this ER and WR deployments right now. So we will discuss about these things later. Okay. So basically from this platform support guide, we can understand what are the application servers that are supported, what all database servers that are supported. Now down you can see something called database servers also, relational database. Okay. So this guide is helpful to understand that. So you can download this guide and you can just go and look at what all supported and what all not supported. That's fine. But anyhow, we are not going to, as I said, this personal edition from Pega 8.8 version onwards, they were not providing this personal edition for us. They were providing what? The community edition for us. Okay. So you can access the community edition. So how do you access the community edition? So to access the community edition, you need to create an account, right? You need to create an account with Pega, pega.com. So where you can go and find that particular community edition. So first let me log in. I'm just going to log in now. Just see. Right. So I've logged into my account. Now, now coming to this community edition. Okay. So here let me click on this Pega sites. Okay. Once you click on this Pega sites or once you hover on this Pega sites, you see something called Pega support here. Right. Now let us click on this Pega support. So when you click on the Pega support, you see here uh, under support, okay, yeah, under support tab, you find something called download Pega software, right? Okay, so let me click on this download Pega software here. Basically, to download any software uh, which are related to Pega, so it actually takes me to what something called digital delivery. Okay, so all the softwares that they are going to provide under digital delivery. See, when I try to click on download software, it says that you are not authorized to view this page. Basically, if you are using, if you are a partner to Pega, then you will have full access. Okay, while creating your Pega account, if you are using official email ID, company email ID, and you are partner to Pega, if your company is partner to Pega, then you will have full length of access. Okay. And see here, they were saying that if you are looking to try Pega software, you may start a free Pega platform trial. So they have given a trial version to us. Let me click on this. This is a free trial. But actually, we are looking for community edition, right? Instead of going for this free trial, you see something called, let me click on again Pega support. Or even, yeah, community edition. I think they have given under My Pega. Let me click on this My Pega here. See, when I click on My Pega also, it is taking me to the same. So let us wait for it. Basically, you can go either with your community edition, okay, or what you can do is for your practice purpose, you can make use of cloud instance, okay, Pega cloud instances, okay. The environment, you need not to install any software on your machine. You can use Pega cloud instance for your practice purpose, okay. So anyhow, we will be also going to make use of what Pega cloud instance itself. Rather than installing, I mean, anyhow, we are not having this personal edition. They have stopped this personal edition from Pega 8.8 onwards. So we will be going to make use of what? You can use either community edition or we will be going with what? Pega Cloud Instance. Okay. Community edition is also having the limitations. Okay. It will not have the full capabilities, full length of capabilities, community edition. That is the reason we won't even use this community edition. So we will go with what? Pega Cloud Instance. Okay. I'll show you how to use a Pega Cloud Instance. Okay. So the environment is already been set for us. We need not to go and install the software on our machine, not even required. Okay. Yeah. So don't worry. I'll show you how to access that community edition and as well cloud instance. So regarding the software, any questions you have? Anyhow, you are not installing the software on your machine, so no need not to worry about what is the operating system that we should have. Okay, so let's not worry about those details. Okay, operating system, what is the configurations that our system should support for this? Need not to worry all those things. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So no worries. Let it be. Meanwhile, so we understood about the Pega software now. Okay. Now, once after understanding the Pega software, next what we are going to focus on. So we will be focusing on the first thing. The first thing, what is this? I mean, as I said, Pega platform is used to develop applications, right? So next, we need to understand. And you know that Pega platform is nothing but a software. It's a software which is to create other softwares. So when I say it is to create other softwares in the sense, nothing but applications. Okay. Software is nothing but what? An application that you are going to build, right? Hmm. So now what is an application? Next, we need to understand what is an application. What is an application in Pega? Okay. So now let us understand what is an application in Pega. So when it comes to an application, see, not only application in Pega in any other technology. Application basically will be going to have how many layers. So any application you take, for example, Facebook or Gmail or Twitter, any application you take, basically application has three layers. Okay. So what are those three layers? The first layer, which is your presentation layer, right? Presentation layer. The next layer, what you'll have? The business layer. And the third layer, what you have? Persistence layer. So these three layers are common in any application. Okay. These three layers are common in any application development. Okay. So what is this presentation layer? What do you mean by presentation layer? You open any application. Let's say, for example, uh, uh, this Pega website itself I'm accessing, right? Mm. You see, this particular Pega website is having a presentation layer or not. Whatever we see on the screen, it is nothing but presentation layer, right? Yeah. And how this presentation layer has been built using which underlying technology? See, as I said that in case of traditional approach, I mean, if you are not using Pega, if you are using the traditional approach to develop an application. Now, in that case, to develop the presentation layer, you should know what are the technologies. Like you should know about HTML, right? You need to go and develop. I mean, you need to learn this HTML technology, CSS, JavaScript, right? Angular, React. These are technologies that you need to learn if you are using the traditional approach, okay, or traditional methodology. If you are following to develop an application, you need to learn all these things. Yes, sir. Now, to develop the business layer, business logic of an application is going to have a business logic, right? Now, to develop this business logic, what are the technologies that you have to use if you're using the traditional approach? If you are interested into Java, you will be learning Java technology to develop the business logic layer. If you are a .NET developer, you need to know about the .NET related technologies to develop your business logic layer, right? Or Python. So these are the technologies that you need to learn in order to develop your business layer. Now, when it comes to persistence layer, persistence in the sense, um, the data access logic layer. Persistence layer is also known as data access logic layer. Okay. So basically, the application will interact with the database, right? So, see, let us try to understand these layers with an example. Okay. Let's say you are new to Facebook. So, what generally you do when you are new to Facebook or Instagram, right? So, you just go and register yourself. Yes, sir. You go and register yourself. In order to register yourself, the Facebook needs to provide what? A registration form to you, right? Facebook has to provide a registration form to you. Now, in the registration form, you'll be filling all your details. Like how, in order to register with Pega, what you're doing, you're just going and clicking on the sign up, right? Yes, sir. Let me log out. Take any application. Basically, that application will have the sign up functionality, right? So you make use of the sign up functionality. You click on sign up and you go and provide what your details, right? So this is a presentation layer or yes, it's a presentation layer. Okay. And how this presentation layer has been built using which technology? If you are using the traditional approach, you have to learn these all front-end related technologies, right? To develop this presentation layer. Okay. So whatever the presentation layer that we are looking at here, so you need to know all those technologies. So what is the business logic? See, once you fill all these details and if you click on sign up, what in the background happens? Okay, the system will check whether with this details already the user exists or not. If the user already exists, what it displays, it says that user already exists with these details, right? User already exists with these details. So that is nothing but business logic there. Okay. In the application, what I will check if the user is trying to register with the same details again, I will check whether this user already exists or not. So how do I check whether this user already exists or not? From my application has to interact with the database, right? Because all your details are persisted where in the database. So my application needs to talk with the database, okay, to get all your details. And I will be going to check whether these details are matching with my existing details or not. If they are matching means what? The user already exists, right? That is what I am going to display here. Okay. Hmm. You see here, for example, I'm just going to select India. The same details I'm using. Okay. Now let me just provide the password, the same password. Already have registered with these details. Now when I click on again the sign up, so let's see what happens. What it is saying, hmm, this email address is already associated with a registered user. So that means what? Someone has already used this email address. That means they have already registered with this email address, right? So in the background, what is happening whenever you submit these details? Business logic is getting executed, right? A business logic is getting executed, and that business logic is checking for what? Whether the user is existing or not, right? If the user is existing, it is throwing an error information to us, right? It is throwing an error information to us. Okay, yeah. So that is the business logic. Okay. So meanwhile, your application is communicating with. See, how does it? How does your application knows that these details already exist? Because your application is communicating with database. So here I need to bring just a moment. Let's assume this as your application only. Okay, this is your application. Now you're trying to register yourself. You'll be filling all your details in your application. Now once after filling, you'll be submitting. You'll be submitting these details. So once you submit these details, where these details will be saved, these details will be saved in a database. Let's assume this as your database over here, right? This as your database. Okay. So in the database, the details has to be persistent. Let's assume for the first time you're registering with the application and you have submitted your details and those details are saved in a database. Okay, right. So in this case, if you look at your application is communicating with database or yeah, how an application can communicate with the database? In order to communicate with the database, you need to know what kind of language database will understand a particular language, right? Only that language you have to use in your application to communicate with the database. So what is that language that you need to know? SQL language, right? As it is a relational database, you should know what? The SQL language. Okay? SQL you should know. Then only you can communicate, right? Otherwise you cannot. Okay? So that means you need to learn this particular language called SQL and you need to write queries using this language. Query. So what do you mean by query here? So you want to persist the details into the database. So what is that query? Insert query. Okay, you want to get the details. Then in that case you have to know the select query. So basically you're using this language to write the queries. Okay. So in that case, here coming to this persistence layer, so you should know what to communicate with the database. You should know what SQL, right? Mm, okay. See, to develop a single application, if you look at these many technologies that I have to learn if I'm using the traditional approach, right? But I'm not going to use the traditional approach. Okay, I'm not going to make use of traditional approach. If I use the traditional approach, I have to learn all these technologies and then I have to go and develop an application, right? Which is a big problem. Going and learning one technology is okay, fine, but going and learning all these things, which is a tedious process, right? Learning itself is becoming difficult for us. Uh, So how Pega is going to overcome this problem? You need not to learn all these technologies to develop an application. Okay. So you just need to learn a one platform, a single platform, which is nothing but Pega platform. So one platform is more enough. Okay. Need not to learn all these technologies. Just go and learn only one platform and develop the application. Okay. In case of Pega platform, you need not to know all these technologies, right? Yeah, a single platform where you can develop the application. See, as I said, right, in the day one itself, I told you that using Pega platform, we can develop application within less time. Why I said within less time? Because the reason is, see, in case of traditional approach, to develop all these layers, see, for presentation layer, we will have a separate team. Okay, so we will be having what web designers or web developers, right? Uh, Front end developers or UI specialists. To develop this presentation layer, we need what UI specialists. And you know that UI specialist, UI in the sense user interface. Okay, basically presentation layer is nothing but a user interface. So UI specialist will be familiar with all these technologies. These technologies they are familiar with. So they use these technologies and they develop what presentation layer. Now coming to business layer, so people who are specialists in these areas, they go and develop business layer. Now coming to persistence layer, you need what the specialists for persistence layer, even SQL developers, PLSQL developers. So those developers are required to write the SQL queries. I mean, basically your application needs to talk with the database, right? And then you need to depend on those SQL developers, PLSQL developers. Uh, and those developers are responsible for writing the queries and they give the queries to us. To us in the sense, we are the application developers. So SQL developer will go and write a query to interact with the database, and that query we will use in our application, right? Okay. So we need to have multiple resources. See, in case of traditional approach, where you need multiple resources, uh, multiple expertises you need, right? And not only that, here application development itself will take a longer duration. Okay, because you are going to write the code, right? You are going to write the code, and not only see when it comes to the application development in the traditional approach, you need to learn all these things, all these technologies. Learning itself is a big problem here. After learning, going and developing the application is again a big task here because it's going to take a huge time, right? Mm. And not only huge time, it is also going to take huge resources here. If you see, as I said, we need UI specialists, your developers, application developers, right? Your SQL developers. Uh, these are the problems that we had in traditional approach. So how are we going to overcome these problems? Means yes, using only one platform. So if we are learning this platform and okay, if we learn this platform, you need not to be a UI specialist. You need not to be a database specialist to write the SQL queries, right? So basically, Pega platform is a kind of an abstraction. It is an abstraction over all these technologies. Okay, yeah. So as a single developer, as a single Pega developer, let's say I have um, I'm using this Pega platform. I can develop all these layers. I can develop a presentation layer, a business layer, a persistence layer. All these layers I can go and develop it. Right? Yeah, all these layers I can go and develop it. I need not to be an expertise in all these technologies to develop all these layers. A single developer can go and develop all these layers. That's how the number of resources are reduced here, right? Coming to Pega, why we require less number of resources? A single resource can go and develop all these layers without knowing all these technologies. Okay, yeah, that's how. Not only a single, I mean, uh, as I said, right, we are not going to write any code at all. Within less time, we can develop the application with less resources, right? Yeah, if you are going with a Java or .NET, where you need a 3 years of time or 100 resources, here you don't require 3 years of time. Let's say hardly 1 year with 30 to 40 resources, I can complete the application development, right? That is the beauty of Pega. So, but see, strictly speaking, again, Pega internally it is using what? These technologies. In the background, Pega is using what? These technologies in the background. To develop the presentation layer, Pega is using in the background what? HTML, CSS, JavaScript, all these things. Okay. To develop this to generate this business layer in the background, what Pega is using? Java. Okay. To communicate with your database, Pega in the background, what it is generating? The SQL queries, right? So in the background, again, the Pega uses these underlying technologies. So Pega is what? It is an abstraction over all these technologies. Okay, it is an abstraction over all these technologies. So you need not to know. If you know these technologies, it is an added advantage. Okay, if you do not know, also it's not a problem. And you are not going to write any code, right? Well, let us not worry about it in that case. Okay. Now you understood what is application exactly. So application means what? It consists of these three layers: presentation layer, business layer, persistence layer. Okay. So how we understood that those three layers with the help of this sign up functionality. The sign up functionality is the part of this Pega website, right? So we are using the sign up and we are filling all details and we are clicking on the submit button or the sign up button. So if you are a new user, your details will be persisted in the database. So that means your application is communicating with the database. And how it can communicate with the database? Your application needs to know the database language. What is the database language that we need to know? SQL, right? Hmm. See, for example, I'm communicating with you all, right? So the neutral language, the common language which I'm using here, which is English. Let's say, for example, you only understand a Hindi language. I need to communicate with you in Hindi language, then only you can understand it. Similarly, to talk with the database, you should know the database language, which is nothing but SQL here. Right? Then only the database understands. Otherwise, database how it can understand. So here application we are building using one language. Okay. And how your application can talk with the database? It should know the SQL language. Then only it can talk with it. Right? Otherwise it cannot. Okay. So that is the reason we need SQL developers who are familiar with SQL language. They go and develop the SQL queries and they give it to us. And we use that SQL queries in our application to persist your details. Okay, so basically what we are doing here, we are persisting your details. Okay, persisting in the sense saving your details. Right? Understood? What is application in Pega and what are the underlying technologies that the Pega is using? So these are the underlying technologies that the Pega is using. Okay, for presentation layer, HTML, CSS, JS, JavaScript, Angular, React. For business layer, it is using Java, but not .NET and Python. It is using only Java. For persistence layer in the background, what Pega is using? SQL queries itself. Okay, so that's all about what is an application in Pega. So for today, we will stop here. Tomorrow, we will see how to create an application. Okay, how to create an application in Pega. Okay, so from tomorrow onwards, we will be going to start with what? The creation of application in Pega using what? The Pega platform itself. The cloud instance I'll be going to make use of. Everyone can use that cloud instance. Only the thing is you have to go and create your own account. Okay. So today you go and create your own account. Okay. Activate your account. So once you fill all these details and you submit, you'll be receiving an email, and that email contains a link. Just click on the link, your account will be activated. So you'll be able to access this Pega website. Okay. So that's all for today. Any questions you have? Understood? Are you getting the things?
Yes, I somehow like I tried to understand. So once we will be into the Pega platform, like you said, tomorrow we'll be creating the instance and all. Then I believe then we might get some queries. So this
Mm-hmm.
theoretical part was clear.
Mm. So these are the basic things actually. So whatever I'm just making you to understand, these are the terminologies we should know. Okay.
Yes.
Once you are familiar with these terminologies, slowly I will be going to explain you like how to. Basically, we use Pega platform for what? For automating your business processes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we will take one business process and we will try to automate that business process. So I'll go and explain one scenario. So we will take a scenario, okay, and we will try to build that scenario, okay.
Okay.
So by
So
using
tomorrow is Saturday. Like Saturday, we have class.
mostly we will not, okay. Um,
Uh, okay. So we will get the confirmation, something like that.
you will be getting the confirmation. Kalyan is going to share those details with you, okay.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, then see you all in the
Thank
next
you.
class.
Bye. Yeah.
Okay.